Hi guys, welcome back to LaDenser Crochets. My name is Liz and it's been a while since I uploaded a tutorial on this channel, and I'm glad to be back with yet another new design, a very simple corset top that I'm sure you're going to enjoy making. Kindly subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a tutorial. Do not forget to like, comment and share. You'll need a 3mm crochet hook. The yarn that I'm using is a medium weight yarn, acrylic yarn, and in this shade, in the nude shade. Then you're going to need a pair of scissors, 2 stitch markers. These are completely optional, you can do without them, a darning needle, and a measuring tape. Take your bust measurements and divide it by 8. So I'm working a bust of 40. So this divided by 8 is going to give me 5. So whatever bust you're working, divide it by 8. Begin with a slip knot and chain 35. This is standard for all the sizes. If you want your top shorter, you can do 30 chains. If you want it longer, you can do 40 chains, but not more than 40. I'm going to start with a chain of 35. After the 35 chains, I'll hold the 35th chain and then chain one more. Then I'm going to work a half double crochet into the 35th chain. So I'll yarn over, go into that chain, pull a loop, then yarn over and pull through the 3 loops on the hook, and that's our first half double crochet. Yarn over, go into the next chain, put your hook through, pull a loop, yarn over, pull through the 3 loops. For the second half double crochet, yarn over, go into the next chain, pull a loop, and then yarn over, pull through the 3 loops. So we're going to work 1 half double crochet into every chain till we get to the end. At the end of the chain, you should have 35 half double crochets. Row 1 is done. So chain 1 and turn to begin row 2. Again, we're going to work half double crochets into these stitches, 1 into each of the stitch. So yarn over, go into the first stitch and place 1 half double crochet, then into the next a half double crochet. So just 1 half double crochet into every stitch till you get to the end. At the end of row 2, you should still have 35 half double crochets. When you come into the end of row 2, at this point I have 2 stitches remaining, but this one is the most visible, so be careful not to miss the last one. So yarn over, go into that second last, place a half double crochet, then go into this last stitch right here. Make sure that you don't miss any stitch, and to make sure of that, you can count your stitches as you go. So at this point I'm done with row 2. I'll chain 1 and turn to begin row 3. So we're just going to be repeating row 2 until you have the number that you've gotten when you divided your bust measurement by 8. So I want to work rows of 35 double crochets until I have my 5 inches. So I'll first work a total of 10 rows, then I'll come back and then we'll measure to see how far we'll have gotten. So go on, work a number of rows that gives you the measurement that you've gotten after dividing the bust by 8. I did 10 rows and realized that they weren't getting me to 5, so I did 2 more for a total of 12. I'm just going to measure this to see whether I've gotten to 5 inches. So you're going to measure while stretching. This is how you hold your work. Without stretching, my project is at around 3.5. When I give this a stretch, let's see if it will get us to 5 inches. Do not stretch it out too much, so it's just a little bit of a stretch. And when I do, at 5 inches, which is quite okay with me. So now we're going to continue working, and at this point we're going to work increases on both sides. So we're going to increase on this side and on the other side, and this will be my row 13, which is the first row of increase. So chain 1 and turn to begin row 13. Yours could be row 11 or row 8. It depends with the measurement that you're working with. in that first stitch, we're going to place 2 half double crochets for that first increase. 1 half double crochet into every other stitch till we get to the last stitch. I'm in the last stitch, so into that stitch, yarn over and go in there with 2 half double crochets for the second increase on that other side. And that is my row 13 done. Chain 1, turn to begin row 14 or whatever row you're working. Into that first stitch again, 2 half double crochets for an increase. You're going to increase for the number of rows that you started with. So if you started with 10 rows, you're going to increase for 10 rows. If you started with 12 rows like me, you're going to increase for 12 rows. If you started with 8 rows right here, you're going to increase for 8 rows into each of the rows. So I'll do 12 rows of increase. Right now I'm in my row 2 of increase, so I'll do 10 more to get to a total of 24 rows. I'm coming to the end of row 2, and this is not the last stitch. That is the second last. The last stitch is not that visible, so make sure that you don't forget it. Go into that stitch with 1 half double crochet, then yarn over, go back into the same stitch for a total of 2 half double crochets. I'm done with row 2. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 3. 2 half double crochets into the first stitch, then 1 half double crochet into all the other stitches until you get to the last stitch. When you get to the last stitch, do an increase. I'm done with my 12 rows of increase on both sides, as you can see, and at this point I'm in row 24. And now to do row 25, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Then I'm going to work this side with no increase, then this side the increase continues. And so we begin the first stitch with just 1 half double crochet, just 1. And this is the point where I'm going to mark. I'm going to mark row 25 with a stitch marker right there. Then I'm going to continue with 1 half double crochet into every stitch. At the end of the row, work an increase. So the beginning does not have an increase, but the end has an increase. Increase in the last stitch right there, place 2 half double crochets. That's my row 25 done. Chain 1 and turn. The increase on this side continues, so we begin with an increase, 2 half double crochets into that first stitch, then continue with 1 half double crochet, and you're going to work 1 half double crochet into every stitch till you have 2 stitches remaining on this end. I'll meet you there. I have my 2 stitches remaining, and I'm going to work a decrease right there. So yarn over, go into this second last stitch, pull a loop. Do not complete the half double crochet. Go into the last stitch and pull a loop. This time round you're not yarning over. Then yarn over and go through all the loops on the hook. And that's a reduction in row 26. Chain 1 and turn. So we are reducing on this side that has the stitch marker for a total of 12 rows. This is the second row. We are in the third row of decrease. To decrease in the first stitch, without yarning over, go into that first stitch, pull a loop. Do not complete, yarn over, go into the second stitch, pull a loop. You have 4 loops. Now yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. That's our reduction. We're going to work 1 half double crochet till we get to this end. On the end, we're going to increase And then we're going to be decreasing on this side while increasing on the other side until we have a total of 12 rows from this point where we have the stitch marker. So into the other stitches, just 1 half double crochet. The last stitch gets 2 half double crochets. Chain 1, turn, place 2 half double crochets in the first stitch for an increase. Then work 1 half double crochet till you have 2 stitches remaining on this end. I have 2 stitches remaining, this one and this one, and now I work a reduction on this side. Yarn over, go into that second last, pull a loop, go into the last without yarning over, pull another loop, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all the 4. Chain 1, turn. We reduce in this beginning stitch, go in there and pull a loop, yarn over, go into the next, pull 2 loops, then yarn over, pull through all, and then continue with 1 half double crochet. At the end, increase. Then when you're beginning on this side, you increase. When you come into this end, you decrease. I'm going to do this until I have my 12 rows, counting from this row that I've marked. Do your 8 or 10 or 12 rows, then let's meet once you're done. I'm done with the 12 rows of reduction on this side, and this is what I have right now. Now we're going to do 4 rows, and these 4 rows are standard for all the sizes. And as we do the 4 rows, we're not increasing or decreasing at any side. So just 1 stitch into all the stitches. Do not increase, do not decrease until you have 4 rows. So just 1 half double crochet into every stitch to the end. At the end, chain 1, then do 1 half double crochet into every stitch until you have 4 rows. After the 4 rows, this is what I have on the top side of the top. This is the bottom. So we've gone straight at that point. And at this side, at this point, the first half of the top is done. So we're going to mirror whatever we've done on this side, on this other side. And so we begin with an increase on this side for 12 rows. As we increase on the top side, we're going to be decreasing on the bottom part so that we come up for 12 rows. So we begin with a chain of 1 and turn. Then begin with an increase in that first stitch. Then all the other stitches will get 1 half double crochet until you have 2 stitches remaining. At the end, do a reduction. I have my 2 stitches remaining, so I'll yarn over, go into the second last, pull a loop, then put the hook through the last stitch, pull another loop without yarning over, then yarn over, go through all the loops for that first reduction on the bottom part of the top, chain 1 and turn, and we begin with a reduction. This is the second row of reduction. Go into that stitch, pull a loop, that first stitch, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull a loop, yarn over, pull through all the loops. Then work 1 half double crochet into every other stitch. In the last stitch of this row, we're going to increase. In the last stitch, an increase. So 2 half double crochets into that last stitch. And this is what we have. Then chain 1, turn. Begin on this side with the increase and end with a decrease. And we're going to do this for the 12 rows. If yours were 8, you're going to increase for the 8. If yours were 15, you increase and decrease on the other side for the 15 rows. So let me do my 12 and I'll meet you back here once I'm done. I'm done with the 12 rows of increase on this side and decrease on the bottom part. Next, we're going to do a decrease on both sides. So we'll be decreasing on this side and on this other side. Chain 1 and turn. For the reduction on this side, we start by working just 1 half double crochet into the first stitch, then 1 half double crochet into all the stitches, then reduce at the end. And at this point, you're going to need to mark that row right there and continue working. I'm coming towards the end of this row and I'm just placing a half double crochet into every stitch. Then in the last 2 stitches, I'll do a reduction. Chain 1 and turn to begin the next row. We begin the next row with a reduction. So a single crochet that is incomplete, then yarn over and do an incomplete half double crochet, then pull through all the stitches. And all the other stitches till you have 2 stitches remaining to the end of this row are going to get just 1 half double crochet. So I'll just go on, place a half double crochet into every stitch until I have the 2 stitches remaining, then I'll do a reduction right there. Same way we've been working the reduction, and this is row 2 of my reduction from the point where I've marked. I want to work until I have my 12 rows. So right now I'm in row 3. I begin with a reduction and combining the first 2 stitches together. Then all the other stitches apart from the last 2 stitches are going to get the half double crochet. So we're basically going to work like this until we have a total of 12 rows. After the 12 rows, this is what I'm going to have, and I'm going to work the final 12 rows on this other side in order to finish the top. And at this point, you should have 35 stitches remaining. In my case, I have 36, and so I'm going to work a reduction in the first stitch just to ensure that I end up with the 35 stitches. So I'll begin with a reduction in this first and second stitch, but I will not work a reduction at the end. So just a reduction at the beginning, no reduction at the end. At the end of this row, I'll have a total of 35 half double crochets, which is the same number that we began with. So keep going with that 1 half double crochet into every stitch until you get to the end of the row. At the end of the row, we're not reducing, we work the same number. So at this point, I'm coming to the end and I'll not reduce, I'll just work 1 half double crochet right there. Then after the last half double crochet, I'll chain 1 and turn to begin the second row of the non-increase or decrease. And all the stitches now until I get the 12 rows will be just 1 half double crochet. If you have 15 rows, if you had 15 rows at the beginning, you're going to work 15. If you had 8 rows, you're going to work 8. If you add 10, you're going to work 10 rows of half double crochets without increases and reduction. And once you're done with this, you'll be done with the main part of the top. I'm done with my 12 rows, and now I'm going to create the loops that I'm going to hold the straps onto the top. So right there, I'm going to put my hook through, chain 1, and then turn. We're going to begin with a single crochet in the first stitch. So place a single crochet into that first stitch, then chain 2, skip 2 stitches, then into the third work a single crochet, and work 7 more single crochets for a total of 8 single crochets. Next, we're going to chain 2. So chain 2, skip 2 stitches, work another 8 single crochets into the next 8 stitches, 1 into each of the stitches for a total of 8. Then after the 8 single crochets, we're going to again chain 10. We're going to chain 2, sorry. We're going to chain 2. So chain 2, skip 2 stitches into the third one, work a single crochet, and again, we're going to work a total of 8 single crochets into each of the stitches, 1 into each of the stitches. At the end, we're going to chain 2 and skip another 2 stitches. So chain 2, skip 2, you have 2 stitches remaining. So in those 2 stitches, place 1 single crochet into each of them. And we are at the end of that row that creates the loops or the gaps that are going to have the straps. Chain 1 and turn. And we're going to do the final row on this side. So begin with a single crochet onto the first single crochet of the previous row, or the last single crochet of the previous row. So 1 single crochet, another single crochet into the next stitch. Into the gap, we place 2 single crochets. And every single crochet is going to get 1 single crochet. So place 1 single crochet on top of the previous single crochets. Then once you get to the gap gets 2 single crochets. And all the single crochets each get just 1 single crochet. So each of the single crochets will get 1 single crochet, the gap will get 2 single crochets, and you're going to repeat this until you get to the end of this row. So keep going until you get to the end. At the end, we chain 1 and cut off the yarn. Then pull through and fasten. So we're going to do the same thing we've done to the other side of the top, and we're going to attach from the bottom part of the top, right here. So begin with a slip knot and reattach the yarn on that first stitch at the bottom right there with a slip stitch. So just do your slip stitch and chain 1. Then go back into that first stitch with a single crochet. Then the next stitch will also get 1 single crochet for a total of 2 single crochets, just like we did on the other side. Chain 2, then skip 2 stitches. Into the third, a single crochet, and do 7 more single crochets for a total of 8. Once you're done with the 8 single crochets, you're going to chain 2, skip 2 stitches, do a single crochet into the third stitch, and then another 7 single crochets to make it 8. So you should have a gap that is in between 8 single crochets. So once you're done with the 8 single crochets, you chain 2 again, skip, and then do another 8 single crochets. After the 8 single crochets, you're going to do the gap. You're going to create the gap by chaining 2. Chain 2, and into the last stitch, we're going to skip 2. We have 1 stitch remaining. Into the last stitch, do a single crochet, then chain 1, and turn. And do the same thing that we've done on the other side. Every single crochet will get a single crochet, every gap will get 2 single crochets, and that is basically what you're going to repeat to the end of this row. At the end, we chain 1 and cut off the yarn. And now that part of the edging is done, we have the gaps that are going to host the straps. So now we're going to do edging at the top part, and we begin at this point all the way to the other side of the top part of our top, or the upper part of our top. Begin with a slip knot and attach a slip knot, and then attach at the beginning with a slip stitch. A slip stitch. Do a slip stitch into that first stitch, and this is a single crochet row, so we're going to chain 1 and do 1 single crochet into that single crochet row. The next single crochet is also a single crochet row. I'm working over my tails just to reduce the number of ends that I'm going to have. So 1 single crochet into the next single crochet row. We get to the half double crochet rows and place 1 single crochet onto the first row. The next row will get 2 single crochets. Then the next one will get 1 single crochet. Then the next row gets 2 single crochets. So we are going to be alternating between a single crochet and 2 single crochets. When one row gets 1 single crochet, the next one will get 2 single crochets. And this is what we're going to repeat till we get to the end of the upper part of the top. Alternate between 1 single crochet in one row, then the next row 2 single crochets. So just do that, and I'll meet you at the end of this edging. Once you get to the stitch marker, continue marking that part, because that's the part that's going to get the straps. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull out the stitch marker when you get there, do the single crochets, and put it back to wherever it was. At the end, we're going to do the final single crochets into those rows, and then finally I'm going to do a slip stitch onto the last stitch onto the stitch on the edging on the other side, on the side that has the gaps. Then I'll chain 1 and cut off the yarn, and that top or the upper edging is done. We're not going to do the edging at the bottom. We're just going to attach the straps on these points that have the stitch markers. So I'll get my yarn and do a slip knot, then pull out one of the stitch markers and reattach the yarn there with a slip stitch. So reattach the yarn and chain 3. Chain 3 is a double crochet. Go into the next stitch with a double crochet. Then chain 3 again, chain 3. Go in between the 2 double crochets and place a double crochet right there. Chain 3 again, go in between the double crochets, place another double crochet. So we're doing rows of 2 double crochets until you have the length of the strap that is suitable for you. I'm going to be doing a total of 80 rows. So 80 rows is a length that is okay with me. You can do as many rows as you want depending on the length of the strap that you want. So keep going with this strap. Once you're done with your number of rows, you're going to reattach the yarn at the point where you have the other stitch marker and do another strap. And once you're done with the strap, you'll be done with the top completely. You can weave in the ends and go on and rock your top. At this point, I'm counting to determine the number of rows I have. I have 10 rows, and so I'm going to do 70 more to get me to 80. Then after that, I'll do another 80 on the other side.